And Coach Dula, I know everyone's looking forward to that. At this time, though, I'm asking one of who happens to be today's game day sponsor, Lawrence First Baptist Church, our pastor, Ricky Letson. He's going to give our blessing and invocation.
It's good to see everybody today. Would you bow with me as we pray? God, we do thank you for this beautiful Friday. We thank you for this sport that draws us together. We thank you for our community where we can be together as friends and neighbors, even though on Friday nights we might cheer for different teams. And we just pray, God, for all of our players, our student athletes, for our cheerleaders, our bands, for everyone that will be involved in the games tonight or tomorrow. We pray that they would be all able to play and to perform to the best of their ability, that you would keep them safe, that you would help us as fans and as coaches to behave ourselves and to exemplify the things you want us to be about. And we pray, God, that you would just in all things help us as a community and as people to do things that will honor you. Lord, now thank you for the food and this time together, and we pray your blessing on it. In Christ's name, amen.
Now it's time to have some fun and honor our student athletes and get to our main speaker today. But again, the mission statement of our Lawrence County Touchdown Club is to promote, is to have a spirit of cooperation, an association among all the business owners, the civic groups, everyone in our community of Lawrence County, and we have that common interest, that is high school football and college football in general. And with that, we had such a great first meeting, and I know it's going to only get better. I'd like to recognize our game day sponsors. Look on your table. You see all the game day sponsors throughout this year. We want to pay tribute here today to Ricky Letson, pastor of Lawrence First Baptist Church, and boy, a blessing that they are to the community, entire county. Also, another great individual, Chris Benson, Raymond James, all that they do. Can't say thank you enough, because I know for a fact that Chris Benson, Raymond James, they support all the high schools, from the Crusaders to the Red Devils and to the Lawrence Raiders, Presbyterian College Blues, just like Lawrence First Baptist Church. And we want to shout you guys out first and foremost. We've already into the high school season. We're getting ready for some college football. I understand there's two big games tomorrow that's going to involve the Gamecocks and the Tigers, but I also want you to know that the Blue Hose are on their way right now. They're on the other side of a mountain up in Tennessee, going to take on Austin Peay. And our next speaker at our next event 2 weeks will be Coach Tommy Spangler. Had a chance to be with Coach Spangler this morning down in Joanna, as he was part of the reading program to the children down there. And I can tell you this, Austin Peay, did I get this right, Coach Nichols? They played the Georgia Bulldogs last week. Well, they fixed to run into a Bulldog tomorrow night. His name is Tommy Spangler. He is a bona fide, dyed-in-the-wool Georgia Bulldog playing. That's one of them Kurt Russell type Georgia Bulldogs. So our Blue Hose going up and represent, and Coach Spangler will be the speaker here in 2 weeks. With that said, we want to get started, but before I do, I want to recognize again another legend, Coach Strop, because he has a lot of claims to fame, as we all know. We love him, revere him in so many ways. But the Erskine Flying Fleet football has been undefeated for how many years?
1951.
Since 1951, they've been undefeated.
Yeah.
And one of the claims to fame, Coach Strop, he is the last quarterback. Well, I understand that that's not going to be anymore, Coach, because the Flying Fleet's fixing to start playing football. Somebody's going to take your place. Okay, so let's get started. Our Crusaders, they're on their way to Charleston. They better be ready down there in Charleston when Coach Kirk comes rolling in with the Lawrence Academy Crusaders. They'll be back with us in a few weeks. Let's always support them with all they do. I think Coach Webb went first last week when Cam won the toss. So what I'm going to do is bring up a man that I can say is the head coach of the 2018 Lawrence County football champions, the Lawrence Raiders, Coach Chris Wyman.
First of all, thank you. I appreciate again being here. Very honored to had the great privilege to work for Coach Dula for a long time and excited about him sharing his message today with all of you. I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for him, to be honest with you. That's without a shadow of a doubt. Just the things that I've learned and tried to instill in our players, and still do almost the exact same thing he did to this day with our program. Just speaks volumes, about how much I respect him and all the things he taught me. So I'm excited about him being here today and getting an opportunity to talk. I do want to introduce our players real quick, and I'll just start with Ty. Ty Davis, just stand up. Ty's probably our smallest offensive lineman, probably is not, it ain't even close. But Ty's probably our most tenacious guy. He's that guy that just flat gets after it on every play. And he's exciting to watch because he's what high school football was made for. Just a tough, hard-nosed kid that loves it and gets after it, and we're very blessed to have him as part of our team. Dre Boyd, very similar. Dre Boyd is, easily could be considered our best defender. He's done a little bit of everything in his career at Lawrence High School. He's an awesome kid. He doesn't say a word, but he plays football the way it's supposed to be played, and that's tough, hard-nosed, get after you. He's very easy to coach. He does exactly what you ask him to do, and Dre's got a big-time future in football if that's something he chooses to do. Got Will Tinsley. Will was with us last time. I had to bring him back. Will is one of our senior captains, and if you were at the Clemson game, and I know a lot of you were, this young man broke his nose, had blood squirting out his finger where he had torn it open and there were blood vessels sticking out of it. And if you watch this guy play, if you couldn't be proud of kids playing football in 2018, then there's something wrong with you if you watch him play. He plays football the way we all remember football. And it's a blessing for him to be part of our team. And, again, he's another guy that leads by example and has done an unbelievable job. Then we got Jackson Mann. Jackson was probably our highlight of the Myrtle Beach game. Defensively, did a lot of really good things. We asked Jackson to probably do too much, to be honest with you, and I've tried to condense that a little bit. Jackson plays a little bit of quarterback for us. He plays a little bit of tight end for us. He's our up back on the punt team. He plays linebacker. Does a little bit of everything. And Jackson's another tough, hard-nosed kid that plays football the right way. And we're very blessed to have him as part of our team. Just go back to the clinic game. If you were there again, it was just an old-timey slugfest, and it was nothing to nothing at halftime. And we just got some breaks at the end of the game that they didn't get, and were able to do some things that allowed us to win. We were very blessed to have to win that football game. And again, if you were there, it was an awesome environment. I don't know that it gets much better than that. There's not many games like that left in our state, to where it's just two teams that just flat get after it, and the competition is the focal point of the game, and that was awesome to experience. And again, we're blessed to be part of that. The next week, Myrtle Beach, not so much. If you saw that game, they've got a really, really good high school football team. I've seen a lot of teams on tape already this year, saw a lot throughout the summer. And if they're not the best team in their classification, I'd be shocked. I know everybody talks about South Point and some other guys, but they are really, really good. We tried our best. We had the ball 32 minutes out of the 48. We couldn't really do a whole lot with them. They were more physical. Not really more physical. They were just bigger and stronger and faster. We gave them some cheapies, but we made them earn it. They had a 12-play drive. They had a 14-play drive. But they didn't make mistakes, and they drove down the field and scored. Quarterback made some incredible plays that only a few kids can make, and that was kind of the outcome of the game. Tonight we're back at home against Hillcrest. Not going to really say a whole lot about that game because I just don't want to. A lot of nonsense, and I hope if you're at the game tonight, that's all I can beg of you, is that you don't become part of that. And we're going to play football. We're going to keep our mouths shut, and we're going to get after them as hard as we can. And that's what we expect from our team. Thank y'all.
We've asked Coach Webb to come up and ready those head to Powdersville tonight to take on the Patriots, one of the newest high schools in the state. Coach Webb.
Thank you. I'll echo Coach Liner. It's always a fun environment to play in when you get to play your county rival. We felt like we certainly did a lot of things well at times throughout that football game, but we weren't able to do them well enough at times. But there's not many games I think you go into halftime 0-0. I don't have it a whole lot in 2018, but that was a lot of fun. We had some kids do a lot of things. We brought some guys with us. Cam Nichols, he also came with us that first week. Cam really kept us in that football game with a couple of catches that he made, and his leadership day in, day out is what our football team has got to continue to build on, continue to listen to, continue to follow if we want to get to where we want to be. Cam had a really, really good game versus ours. Austin Kaufman is a linebacker, just a tough kid, does everything you ask. You can lay your head down and not, he just laid it on the line for you and his teammates. And he made some plays for us on defense in that game, played really tough. This past week, Greg Sanders was our player of the week. Greg's a fullback, running back, defensive lineman, linebacker. He kind of goes where we need him to go. And never says a word, always does what we ask him to, and we certainly appreciate their effort. In that Lawrence game, there were times where I thought we battled back. We had a chance. Every time we had a chance to kind of get back in the game, Lawrence made a play. Every time we had a chance to get back in the game, Lawrence made a play. I thought the kickoff return, wheel, that was a big turning point. And every time we needed to make a play, they made one. And I didn't get to shake all their kids' hands after that game. Congratulations to all of them. I will echo Coach Lyon. Will Tim is a tough football player. That is a tough football player. When you watch kids play offense, defense, find down their fronts and nose, fingers all messed up, and still playing, it's hard not to respect. It's hard not to respect. This past week, we got hit straight in the mouth right out of the gate. We did not respond very well. Root scored the first 3 plays. They had the ball and they scored on 2. And we just got rattled a little bit. We answered with a 99-yard touchdown drive. Took like 16 plays. But every time we kind of needed to make a play, we couldn't. And it just snowballed on us really fast. Our guys continue to work. There's no doubt we're better today than we were Monday. And we're going to go get after Powdersville tonight. The one thing that our guys and we have got to be able to do is we've got to get off the bus expecting to go win. And I think there's times that as a collective group we kind of feel our way around a little bit before we realize, hey, we can play with them. Or in case, last week it's 28-7 at halftime and we're kind of out on them. But we got to get off the bus expecting to win. We're looking forward to that tonight. First time we've ever played Powdersville. But they're a lot of the same boat we are. They play 2 really good opponents, VHP and Win, and they've done some good things, but they haven't been able to do them consistent enough to be in those games in the 4th quarter. So we're looking forward to it. Also echo Coach Liner said about Coach Dula. In 2006, I was 2006, I believe it was, maybe 2007. I was taking 2006. Taking a college class over in Greenwood in the evenings on Monday, and I had to leave our practice. There was a couple of Monday practices that I weren't able to go to because of the class times. But I would go stop by Greenwood High School and just walk out there and watch Greenwood practice for no other reason than I knew Coach Dula knew what he was doing. And one of the first times I was out there, he walked over there. He may not remember this. He walked over there probably just to see what this random guy was doing in practice, but. Come over there, spoke to me. I told him who I was. Told him, you're welcome to come out here anytime. So every Monday I had the chance that year, I was there at practice watching those guys. And Coach Dula, certainly appreciate you, and look forward to hearing from you today. Thank you.
As we get ready into our main part of our program, do want to recognize Dempsey's Pizza. I don't know if you Lawrence people go down, but if you go by Dempsey's Pizza anytime after 5 o'clock, you about have to park in Joanna to be able to get in. And You know, the only thing better than Dempsey's Pizza is Tony and Bert and the Dempsey family. Patronize them because they have tremendous people. I know because they raised both of my boys. Pretty much so. One works for them now, and one did for many, many years. But Dempsey's Pizza, we want to do a good job this year of making sure we recognize money is hard earned. Okay? Time is money. The volunteers, you see them standing around, but a lot of people work hard for this program. And you may tell you what makes it best. Gene Simmons and I, Mike Hughes, Coach Dixon, to be there 2 weeks ago. And when they cut those lights on at Wilder Stadium, to see 4,000 plus, I do not know whose idea it was to open up that way. But I give kudos to both of you guys because that is what high school football and Lawrence County football is all about. And that's going to be a tradition I hope that lasts for many, many more years. Our speaker, you can tell already how much he's revered. You can tell how much of a legend he is just from respect. One thing I know about speaking is that the person who introduces a legend like this, it needs to be a qualified individual. I'm not that person. You know, there's a lot of people in this room. Coach Liner played for him for 11 years. Harold Nichols. We go into the family. We go into the family here. Sandy, if you will come on up and let me introduce the introducer, because this is the man that gave me my job. This is the voice of the Clemson Red Devils for 25 years. I learned just about all from this man right here. He's one of your legends on your program, along with Sonny King. We did a lot of them last week. This is Sandy Cruikshank.
Thank you, buddy. Sonny's a lot older than I am, by the way. It's a great pleasure to be able to introduce our speaker today. And for you young folks, I'll tell you a couple of things. I can't tell all the things I know about Coach Dula. He and I played together back a long time ago. We're on a conference championship team, and one of the things that Coach Galt used to make us do was run sprints at the end of, I know you coaches don't do that now, but we had to run sprints at the end of practice. Well, Coach Galt knew that I was going to become a lawyer because I conned him into the fact that, okay, I was a receiver, but really that's a lineman, so I got to run with the lineman because I had no speed, guys. I had no speed at all. I got to know Shell real well because Shell was the only person on the team that was slower than I was. So I could always beat him in the sprints. Isn't that right, Shell? That's true. We are distantly related, believe it or not. By the way, Shell, they sent me a thing to introduce you by. My printer ran out of paper and ink. I don't need that. I'm gonna win this one, buddy. You know, coaches that win over 200 games are pretty good, okay? This is one of them. Coaches that get in the Hall of Fame are pretty good. This is one of them. Guy that I've known for a long, long time. He's got 6 championship rings, 1 at 96, 2 at Union, and 3 at Greenwood. They tried to get him to put another thumb on his hand so he could wear them all on one hand, but he's got some impressive rings. Which one you got on today, Coach?
2006.
2006 for the World State Championship. But it's always a pleasure. The guy that, players, and you hear it from your coaches, everybody's got a different level of talent. We're not all blessed, with God-given talent. Shell was not one of those. But if there was anybody that ever showed pride in performance, he was one of them. He was going to outperform you. He might not have been better than you, physically or otherwise, but he was going to outperform you. He wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to quit. He was a co-captain of that team, and he's a good friend, and I'm going to let him have all the time he needs. Coach Shell Dula.
I tell you, can you hear me okay? No. You can't? I'll talk louder then. Okay, I'll use a microphone. If King Dixon says use a microphone, I'll use a microphone. That's for sure. I tell you, it's a pleasure to be here. Very excited to be back in Lawrence County. It's very, very special. Coaches, thank y'all so much for your comments. I appreciate that. To the players, congratulations to y'all. You're being represented here, representing your team. It's quite an honor. Means you've done something very special. Means you're certainly a team player. Means that you're putting forth great effort. And all I want to say is go kick that butt tonight! Kick that butt! Kick that butt! Okay, I'm having a coaching now, so I can go back there and be just a has-been, but I had to get that out. I had to say that. You know, you say here that we're the executive director of the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. Not going to say a whole lot about that. Cindy Jacobs does most of the work with that organization, and we appreciate her very much. But I do want to mention two things about the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. Three things, I'm sorry. Number one, of course, we took over in 2009 when Keith and Tallulah Richardson gave up the position, and certainly they did an outstanding job for a long time, and we appreciate all that they did, and continue to do. But two milestones that we've reached just this summer. This summer we wrote $85,500 worth of scholarships to the children of coaches in South Carolina. That's by far the most we've ever written. And just yesterday, we went over 6,600 in membership, which is the most we've ever had. So, you know, we're very excited about that, and we still have membership going until the end of December. So, you know, hopefully we'll get some more. But again, it's great to be here. Lawrence is a very special place. I grew up in Lawrence. In fact, when I drove in this morning, I came a little bit early. I didn't know where the place was, so that was one reason I came early. But at the same token, I rode down Irby Avenue in Lawrence. I always go down Irby Avenue to see where I grew up. Then I turned on Jones Street and went down Jones Street because that's where my aunts lived, and I spent an awful lot of time there. So, you know, it's a nostalgic event being here. And I see so many people I know. So many people who have been so important to us over the years. I'm going to talk a little bit about Coach Galton in a few minutes, but Coach Strock is here, Coach King, and we got officials here, and that probably threw a flag on me a couple of times. But anyway, and we just got a lot of people that I respect very much. A lot of great people, and that reminds me of a story. We were at PC several years ago. I think we were coaching maybe at Union then, and we were at a get-together at PC. And we were just, you know, a lot of coaches there, a lot of officials there, a lot of, you know, different people for this event. And my wife, Mary, was with me. And by the way, somebody said, hey, it looks like you've lost some weight. Well, Mary doesn't let me eat. But I ate today on that pizza. I chowed down on that pizza. But anyway, we're there. And, you know, I see all these different people. And I walk up to Mary. And I say, Mary, you know, there are a lot of great coaches in this room today. There are a lot of great coaches. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, there's one less than you think. So, you know, athletics, football can be very humbling. Very humbling. But it is good to see everyone today. It's good to see these folks and be able to visit with you. And thank you, so many of you, for the influence you've had on us. And I appreciate that very much. I appreciate Sandy's introduction, and I can tell you some stories about Sandy, but we're not going to do that. But anyway, I got some lady, any close friends, I can tell you a couple if you want to. Chris and I, we're very proud of you. We're very proud of the job. Chris was on our staff for 11 years at Greenwood, and he's doing a great job, and we support him and know what a great job he's doing. Coach Webb, best of luck to y'all tonight. We talked several times on the phone, and just keep getting it, and good things are going to happen, and good things will happen because you're doing it the right way. I've always really been respectful of Clunnon football. When I was growing up, I grew up in Lawrence. We played Clunnon, big rival. Now, some of the names I'm going to mention right now, you aren't going to remember. But in Clunnon, there was a guy named Connor Littleton. King will remember Connor. Of course, King Dixon was a man in Lawrence. Connor Littleton was a man in Clunnon. And, but, you know, you Connor Littleton, Gary Laney, Joel Wetzel, and we could go on and on. Just some really good players there. The only school that we ever went to see practice Now, we had assistant coaches that went to colleges. We had assistant coaches that went here or there. But the only place I went to watch somebody practice was Clinton High School. We worked for Coach W.L. Varner in Woodruff, and I thought I learned a lot there, and certainly learned a lot from Coach Varner. But we would go watch Clinton practice. I wanted to see Coach Richardson and his staff and the job they did and the way they did it. So we've always been very respectful for Lawrence and very respectful of Clinton and the job that both programs have done and the job that they continue to do and will continue to do. Presbyterian College was a great experience for us. I loved our time at PC. I was slow, I couldn't run, and Coach Galt gave me a chance. And I appreciate that. Now, I was a Lawrence County boy, so it's probably pretty good PR that they recruited somebody from Lawrence. But at the same time, he gave us the opportunity. And I appreciate that so much. There are 3 people who are responsible for our going into coaching. 3 people. Coach Galt, I'm going to walk back there and I'm going to hug your neck because you're the #1. Without you, I appreciate what Chris said, but without you, I would never have gone into coaching. We were able to see that a coach could be a positive influence, and a coach could work his players hard. A coach could have high expectations, but a coach could also love the people that played for him. And I appreciate that. Coach Billy Tiller was a second. Coach Billy Tiller was our defensive line coach. And oh my goodness, I got to tell you one story, guys, and if I get to talking too long, y'all just tell me. True story. True story. My last practice at PC. I was a senior. We were getting ready to play Newberry. Last practice. We had these monkey bars out at practice. And when we first got to practice, when we first got out there, we were supposed to walk the monkey bars and this type thing. All year. Well, a friend of mine, Bob Murray, who was an offensive lineman, we would get to practice early. We would get there before anybody else because we couldn't do the blame monkey bars. You know, they just whipped us. So the last practice before we played Newberry, my senior year, Bob and I, we going out, we're 45 minutes before practice. And lo and behold, there sits Coach Tiller. And he just sits there with his arms crossed and said, boys, I just want to see y'all do these monkey bars this last day. Murray and I looked at each other because he knew what we had been doing. But he was there, boy, I had so many blisters on my hand after that, and I guess we barely made it, but what an event, what a person, Coach Galt, Coach Tiller, and then Coach W.L. Varner at Woodruff, who we had the opportunity to be there for 8 years. And so they made a great influence on us and allowed us and helped us to go into coaching, and I'll always be grateful for them. Our career has been back and forth across Lake Greenwood. PC, then we went to Woodruff, then we came to 96, then we went to Union, then we came back to Greenwood. So we've been very fortunate. Let me tell you about one of our football players at Greenwood. And I'm going to mention a few. We've had good football players. Coach Snyder will attest. We've had good football players at 96, at Woodruff, at Union, and at Greenwood. Good football players. We had one. His name was DJ Swearington. DJ is now a starting free safety for the Washington Redskins. Another young man from Greenwood, Josh Norman, is a starting corner for the Redskins. But this is a true story. DJ was a 10th grader. He was on the kickoff covering team. Any of y'all on the kickoff covering team? Suicide. Okay, very good. And of course, your job is to sprint down that field. Well, we put DJ right next to the kicker. And we were playing Spartanburg. And they ran what was called a wedge return. They brought 3 or 4 linemen together and came right back up the field. So DJ played for us, played at Carolina. He's now in the NFL. But anyway, So I said, DJ, your job is to bust up that wedge. You're to bust up that wedge, John. And you go down there and you run as fast as you can and you bust the wedge up and somebody else will come in and make the tackle. And he was fired up. It was a 10th grader, first year starting. He was on free safety too, but he was all excited. He was hopping around. They had that rhythm, you know, and also we approached, David, you might have had. Now I remember one game you had when we played in Gaffney, but we won't get into that. But anyway,
That was the right
anyway.
call, by the way.
Do what?
That was the right call,
Hey,
Gary.
I know it was. I wasn't questioning it. But anyway, we kick off. It's a great kickoff. Doesn't quite go in the end zone. Here goes DJ. He's running as fast as he can. He's fat getting out there. They bring this wedge together. DJ throws his body into that wedge. Bodies go this way. Bodies go that way. Somebody comes in and makes a play. Well, DJ is starting free safety. He's supposed to stay there. But here comes DJ. He's staggering off the field like this. He's staggering off the field like this. I'll run down there and I say, DJ, that's a great play, that's a great play. He said, Coach, they blinded me in one eye, they blinded me in one eye. I said, DJ, turn your helmet around, you're looking out the air hole. Then we got him checked out to make sure he was okay, and then he went back to the game. You know, defense, I love the fact that it was nothing when y'all played at the end of the first half. Defense has taken a back seat to offense over the last few years. People are scoring 48, 47, 54, 53. I'm so glad to see Clemson's defensive line getting most of the ink concerning Clemson football. Now they got a good offense, but they are really good defensively. And you can go on. Alabama, for years, they've been okay offensively, but they flat out get after defensively. And right now, if you ask anybody who the two best football teams in the country are, it would probably be Clemson and Alabama. And South Carolina is on the way. They're getting much better. The best high school football game, regular season game that we were ever a part of. Best high school football game. I was an assistant at Woodruff High School. It was 1976. It was the fourth game of the season. Woodruff at Burns. No overtime. Didn't have overtime then. Two excellent football teams playing each other. Final score, 0-0. Burns, end of the season, 13-0-1. Didn't play with 14 then. 13-0-1, 3A state champions. Woodruff, end of the season, 13-0-1, 2A state champions. And battle, 0-0. Best offensive game, Chris Arnold was the offensive coordinator. Again, it was Burns. It was Burns at Greenwood, 2005. They had a quarterback named Willie Corn who was a great player. We had a quarterback named Armonte Edwards who was a great player. Anybody know why Armonte Edwards was mentioned on TV so much this weekend? What was it?
He led his team again in Appalachian State against the win against Michigan.
The 11th year to the day that Appalachian State beat Michigan at Michigan in our mind. But anyway, this is a great football game. It is 35-35 in the first half. Now we fired all the defensive coaches the next day, but I think I was helping with defense, so that's probably. But it was 35-35. We missed serve. We didn't score one time, and all of a sudden we got 2 touchdowns behind. But I think it was 35-35. They scored, made it 42-35. We didn't score, and they did score, and so that was it. First time in my life, Eddie Miller was our administrative assistant there at Greenwood. And, you know, I had somebody say, go tell Debbie to stand at the gate and get their money when they go out. Because they not only pay to get in, they need to pay to get out for this one, because it was so good. We got $2,000 but it's so good to see defense. It's so good to see that the defense is coming back. And in South Carolina, if you look at the state championship teams over the last 4 or 5 years, you see teams that can score. You see teams that are good offensively, and they're somewhat different offensively, but they all play good defense. They all play good defense. South Point, Dutch Fort, Dillon, Abbeville, Lamar, those 5 have won a lot of state championships in the last 5 years. And you look at them, and they play good defense. They run different offenses, but they play defense. And I think that's the way it is. Clinton, very familiar with defense. I was an offensive line coach at Woodruff. Clinton had a nose guard by the name, I think it was Robert Scott. Robert Scott and Charles Norman were the first two that were so good. Then there came Roscoe Watson. Then there came J.D. Fuller. Guys, you need to get. Now, I don't see any JDs that is 6'3", 230 pounds. It's nice to have those. We triple teamed Robert Scott. I was coaching offensive line. And Coach Keene looks at me and says, you got to we the center and both guards tried to block Robert Scott. Because if we put one on him, we didn't have to worry about the linebacker. We weren't going to get to the linebackers if we didn't triple team Robert Scott. And that's as big a compliment you can pay somebody. So defense is an integral part of football. It's always been an integral part of football. And you look at, again, the major college teams, you look at the better college, the better high school, you look at the Eagles last night, they do a lot of good things defensively. So I just sort of throw that out to you. To be a football team, to be a really good football team, and Lawrence and Clement, you're going to be there. Because you've got a lot of what you have to have. You've got a community that cares about you guys. You know, Lawrence is a great community for football. Clement is a great community for football. You've got good coaches. You've got people who are willing to sacrifice. I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday, a guy named Kevin Addison. We were talking, and Kevin had played for us at Union, and he came by our office, and we were talking, and Kevin had coached with us at Greenwood for a number of years, and he got out of coaching. And he said, you know, Coach, I'm getting to spend time with my children. I'm getting to take Cameron to his midget football games, etc., etc. It was a great decision. And folks, we coaches, whether they're head coaches, whether they're assistant coaches, and y'all know this if you're connected, you sacrifice time with your families. You sacrifice time with your wife, you sacrifice time with your children, but you've got people that are willing to do that. So you've got that, you've got good coaches, you've got communities that care. I think the third thing you've got to have to be successful is you've got to have discipline. You've got to have discipline. Got to think, I've got to make sure I say it. 1997, we went to Greenwood. We hired Chris Liner to coach our receivers. Or maybe coach defensive backs first year. First year coach defensive backs, then went to receivers. We had a really good coaching staff. We were 2-9. Now we had just won state championship in Union, and Mary comes up to me and she says, now Shell, why is it we left Union? You know, but we're 2-9. We're struggling. They're saying, get him out of here, you know, this type of. But anyway, so we worked hard and we really pushed the kids. And the next year, we start off and we're like 5-2. We're like 5-2. We're getting ready to play West Side High School. And at that time, West Side was probably the best in our region. West Side and Lawrence were the two best teams in our region. So we were getting ready to play West Side. They had beaten us 49-3 the year before. Just drugged us. We put a sign up, and every day when our football team had to go to practice, for a year they saw 49-3. We told them we're not taking it down until we beat West Side. Well, we're getting ready to go to West Side to play. It's 1998. We're 5-2. Some good things are happening. We have a pregame meal. The best high school linebacker I've been around was a young man named Ricky Grant. Ricky was not a college player, but Ricky was about 5'10", about 220. Ricardo Hurley, who played at Carolina, was his half brother. But Ricky was about a high school linebacker than Ricardo was. We come in to eat pregame. When it's time to start, I always stand up. We have the prayer, say a couple of things, then we eat pregame meal. I stood up, and Ricky walked in the door. So Ricky was late. Ricky had almost been late the week before. I exploded. Lee Sawyer was our defensive coordinator. Gene Cathcart was our offensive. I said, Coach Sawyer, Coach Cathcart, will you meet me outside and Ricky, get your rear end out? And I just said, Ricky, you're not playing tonight. Gene started listening to me. I said, you're not playing. They had beaten us 49-3. They were undefeated in the region. We were undefeated in the region. We were going to their place. And the best football player we got, you're not playing. Oh, Coach. I said, Ricky, no, you're not playing. So we go to West Side. Our kids are little, they know Ricky's not going to play. Our quarterback got his jersey. Our quarterback was wearing number 89 in the ball game. I thought, Lord, what is going to happen? Ricky, the first quarter, Ricky is right there beside me. He is right there beside me. He's got those full chin straps buckled. He is ready. Because he just knows Coach Dula was going to let him play. That it was all a fake. It was all a bluff. He knows that. Well, second quarter, he does two of them. Third quarter, he's got his whole chin strap unbuckled. And fourth quarter, Ricky knew he wasn't playing. It was the greatest decision we ever made. Because we won the football game without our best football player. And all of a sudden, discipline was no problem. Because they knew doggone well if we'd disciplined Ricky Grant, we'd discipline any of them. So it was no problem. But you got to have discipline. And then, of course, you got to have good players. There are three of our former players on Coach Liner's staff now. Centel Pete played for us at Union, and Zach Norman and Chandler Reard played for us at Greenwood. In fact, I went by to watch Lawrence. I did go watch Lawrence practice. That's only the second time I've seen some. I went to watch Lawrence practice last year. And Lord, there's Mike Bridges, who was on our staff at Greenwood, and of course Coach Liner was on our staff, and those three guys. But you got to have good players. You got to have good players. And we've been very fortunate over the years to have good players. We've been very fortunate to have good players. But if you've got discipline, you've got a community that supports you, you've got coaches that will bust their rear ends for you, and you've got good players, guys, you can do whatever you want to. You can do whatever you want to. You can go out there and whip Hillcrest's rear end tonight. You can go out there and whip Powersville rear end tonight. And I sure hope you do it. Mary and I are going to come see the Lawrence game. I'm excited about it. We're going to come see, and I'm going to get on the radio and I'm going to find out how Clemson did. And we want to duck it. We want to duck it. And I hope it works out for you. I hope it works out. So you got to have those, but you got to have good players. And again, we've been very fortunate. I'm about to run out of time. Come
all.
Okay, I go all day, that's what I want. The longer I talk, the more I get paid, so that's good, okay. Probably the biggest thrill that we've had, talking about the caliber players that we've been fortunate enough to work with. Mary and I went down to LSU probably about 6 years ago. South Carolina was playing at LSU. And it was a bus trip, and then we took that bus trip. We wanted to go, never been to that Death Valley, and I don't think they can now say that's the #1 Death Valley. I think probably the #1 Death Valley's up at Clemson right now. But now, if there's any LSU fans in here, I better duck, because it's going to be coming. But we go down there, the LSU people were really good, but we went with a group from Carolina. Probably the most proud I've ever been. One was ranked #5 in the country, one was ranked #7 in the country. Playing on national TV on Saturday night. The 4 captains come to the middle of the field. Of the 8 captains, 2 of them were from Greenwood, South Carolina. DJ Swearinger was one of the captains for Carolina. Sam Montgomery was one of the captains for LSU. Very, very proud. We've been very fortunate to have good players. And guys, I know you're good players. I heard about those catches you made. I know you're good players. It doesn't matter, both of those went to big schools, but it doesn't matter. You work hard. If you want to try college football, you try. We've got a young man that signed a contract in Greenwood about 2 years ago for $54 million. That's Bobby Coleman's salary. That's pocket change for Bobby, but anyway, $54 million. Played at Coastal Carolina. Centel played at Newberry. Chandler was an All-American at Elon. Zach played at Tuscany. Armani played at Michigan, at Appalachian State. All you got to do is work. Keep working, and hopefully something good's going to happen. Because you're good football players, and you've got good teams, and you're going to flat get at it. And hopefully there's something good to happen to you. Hopefully something good to happen to you. Let me share one more thing, then I'm going to basically close it down. Work hard, opportunity comes, take advantage of it. In talking to young people, the most important thing in our society today is, guys, make good decisions. Make good decisions. Because you realize the decisions you make right now can affect you for the rest of your life. All right, now, we're going to see who can do this. We got Monty Dutton now. He'll know. There are 2 young men from South Carolina who were the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. Now, you either love Notre Dame or you hate them, but there are 2 from South Carolina who have been the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. Anybody want to venture a guess? Tony Rice from Woodruff is one of them. Tony, of course, led them to the 1988 National Championship. Who's the second?
Everett Golson.
Everett Golson from Myrtle Beach is the second. Tony still lives in that area. I'm not sure what Everett's doing. Everett Golson was proficient in 7 musical instruments. He's from Myrtle Beach. He's a quarterback at Myrtle Beach. But he was proficient in 7 musical instruments. He went to Notre Dame. He became the starting quarterback, and then he made an awful decision. He made a terrible decision. He cheated on a test. And he got caught. Then he got removed from school, lost his position. Later, went back to Notre Dame, got back in after a year, got back on the football team, was probably never as good once that happened. didn't hear a lot about it. Two things, guys. Make good decisions. Make good. In our society today, there's so many people your age aren't making good decisions. Make good decisions. The second thing, if you make a mistake, if you get knocked down, don't stay down. Everett accepted it, did what he had to do, got back into Notre Dame. I'm not sure if he graduated Notre Dame, but he got back. Coach Gall used to say, there's no sin in getting knocked down, the sin is staying down. Coach Trott didn't say that to the defensive back, because if they fell down, it was 6 points. King Dixon coached Quantico Marines when I was at PC. You talk about men playing boys, I guarantee you that. But it was a good game. And we can go on and on. Thank you so much for letting me be here. That applies to all of us. Make good decisions. And if we make a bad decision and we get knocked down, get back up. Look forward to seeing you play tonight. Look forward to hearing about your game. It is so good to see so many people who have been so important. Sonny King was the head coach of the North-South football game in 1965, and they had one position left, and I got chosen. I don't know how, but I did. And I'll never forget that. So, a lot of special people. A lot of special. Buck is married to the first girl I think I dated when I was in high school in Lawrence, Maryland. And so we can go on and on and on. And you're tired of hearing me. The best thing I'll say is Chris, you and Coach Webb, we were playing, I'll close with this, we were playing a state championship at Williams-Brice. I think, I can't remember what year, it might have been 95. Yeah, it was 95. Because we had played Fairfield Central on Saturday night, and I saw this group from Clunnon up there. All the Clunnon guys were there. And they were there because they all had the state championship game the next week. And I'll never forget, we felt good because we had officials we knew. And that gym there holding us, we're playing Walter Brown. I said, "Al, they holding us!" He said, "No, they're not either." I thought, oh gosh, it's going to be a long day today. But, for officials, and probably but great job. This is a special group. Thank you for letting me be here. I apologize for talking so long, but hey, when you're having fun, you just keep having fun. Thank you very much. I hope there's some tea.
Passion. Hope you guys can feel it. Passion. No price tag you put on passion. People will forget what you've done. People will forget what you said. But nobody will ever forget how someone made you feel. That comes with respect. Thank you, Coach Dula, for being here today. Thank you to our legends.